Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to this Docker session. So today we will be looking into the Docker volume. Okay. As of now, we have just seen about how Docker works, what is the purpose of the Docker. Then within that, we have learned about what are the images and containers where the images are hosted, like Docker Hub. So how to create a container, start it, stop it, and all the commands related to that container we have explored. Post that we have covered this Docker file, like how you can create a custom image, because the basic image which are provided by the Docker Hub, that are not specific to your project. Okay, maybe your project requires certain image in which extra packages to be installed, certain files to be created, copied from somewhere. So any customization which is required for your project purpose, you can definitely do that with the help of Docker file. Okay, you just have to write your requirement within the Docker file as per the instructions or as per the standard format of the Docker file, and once you are done with that, just build it and you will get a new image, and that custom image will have all the things that you are going to write within the Docker file. Okay, and keep in mind the name of the Docker file should be like this only. If you write, or let's say if you write my Docker file or Docker file 1, Docker file 2, likewise, in that case, by default, this build command will be searching for the Docker file with the same name. Okay, but if you want to provide some other name to that Docker file, then you just have to provide -f file name and what is the Docker file name. Okay, if it is different than the standard Docker file, if you are writing something else, if you are giving a different name to that, then you have to provide the name of the Docker file. This will also work. Okay, but the default Docker file name should be like this only, with D as a capital. Then yesterday we have seen, once the custom image got created, how we can push it to the Docker Hub. So you have to log into the Docker account first. So whatever the username and password you have set on this Docker Hub account, the same username and password you have to provide after doing the Docker login. Docker login you have to do from the terminal. And once we are done with that, then tag that image, means rename that image or create a one more image with the same name with the help of image tag. And main thing is, like, you have to add the username at the start, slash whatever might be the image name you want to keep it. Okay, and push this image so that this will get pushed within my account. So till now we have covered this. Now we will be looking into the Docker volume, why we need it, and what is the main purpose of this Docker volume, that we are going to look into it now. Okay, so this is this our Docker server. Anything, okay, there are a lot of containers are running over here. So let's delete all those containers. I think these are running from yesterday's session. Docker container, let's say stop all the container first and then remove all the container. Docker container rm, what happening over here? Okay, okay, once I have stopped, okay, all those, like, I think all those were up and running, but there was certain command which was executing. So now each and every container is down. Now do we have anything? Okay, these are the exited containers, so let me delete all those containers. Earlier I was not getting any output over here because I was doing ps-q. This q is just to get only the container ID, but the thing is, this ps will show you the containers which are up and running. But now I have stopped this container, so now it's no longer available with only ps. The output we will get via ps-a. A is for all the containers, like along with the exited status as well. So that's where I was getting error. So let's remove all the containers with the help of this -aq, this command. Now hopefully I should not see any container over here. So no container. Let's look into the images. Image ls. Okay, so I think there are a lot of images. Same thing we can do with this. Let's delete all the images. How to delete image? On docker image rm. The way we have done the container, in the same way we can do with the help of docker image rm and name of the image or id of the image, anything works. By that you can delete it. Sometimes some images don't get deleted quickly because they need some forced deletion. Okay, so must be forced delete. So let's type -f for forced deleting. Now there should not be any image available with us. Okay, so all the images got deleted, container got deleted, like stop and started, each and everything got. So our docker account is clear now. You can check certain information about docker as well over here with the help of docker info command, that how many containers are there. As of now I have deleted everything, so that's where there are 0 containers, like running, pause, stop, everything 0. I don't have any images right now because I have deleted everything. So this is just to get a glimpse of how many containers are running, how many in the stop condition, how many images you have present within this, and what is the version of your docker which got installed on your system. So all this information you will get to see over here. And let's pull an image then, docker image pull nginx, because we will be using this image to create a container. Let's say if you even don't pull this image and directly create a container internally, it is going to get downloaded. Let me show you that, because it's not always necessary to pull an image to create a container. So let me delete this image. Okay, so I don't have any image at my end. And now you want to create a container. Let's say docker container run -d, and I want to create a container from nginx image. So what it is going to do, initially it is going to look if nginx image is present on the server or not. So I don't have nginx image present on the server, so it is going to get downloaded from the internet, from the docker hub. Okay, so it's not necessary that always you have to download an image or pull it first before creating a container. You can create a container from any image which is even not available on your system. That is okay. It will just look for it, but as we were not having any nginx image on our local system, as we have deleted that, so that's where it started pulling. If I create one more container with name, let's say c2, so this time this nginx image was present locally because it is downloaded over here. So that's why it is not going to download again. That is the main thing. Like first of all, always it will look for that image if it is present locally or not. If it is present, well and good, otherwise it is going to download it. Okay, so now we have one container over here, docker container ps, and the name of the container is c1. So let's log in with it. Okay, so we logged into this container. Now let me share what is the benefit of volume. Now, as you know, like each and every process, there are processes running within this container. Okay, so each and every process will generate certain logs. Let's say nginx process is running within this container, so it means the logs related to the nginx will get generated at certain location. Okay, and till the time this container is available or it is up condition or it is present with us, till that time we can go ahead and look for the logs. But let's consider that this container get crashed and it got deleted automatically. due to some system related issues. And now as a developer I want to look for those logs, like why this got crashed, what was the main reason behind that. So I will not be able to find out the logs, because if the container will get deleted, then whatever the data that will get generated within this container, that will also get deleted. Okay, let me show you some scenario. Let's see if I go to tmp folder, and let's see if I create one.log over here. So within this container I have created a file one.log, and if this container gets, let's say, deleted, and if I create a new container and log into this container, then this file one.log which was present earlier in the container c1 is no longer available, because this file was uh, present within the container c1 and this got deleted. So there is no way that you can uh, get that file one more time just for validation, because as a developer I want to look for the logs just to see like what went wrong with that container, why things were not working earlier in that case. Okay, so that's where we need some data persistence. What is the meaning of persistence? We need to store this data somewhere, so that even though the container gets deleted, the data within that container should remain available even after container deletion. Okay, so that is the main thing. Try to understand this, like ये जो data generate कर रहा है container, that data is crucial to us, important to us. In that case, just store this data outside the container, so that container delete भी हो जाता है, so there is no issue with any log and all. We can, as a developer, I can go ahead and look for the logs and analyze that logs at any point in time. So there is a data persistence with the help of Docker volume. So let me show you a practical of that just to get you a better understanding. Okay, so this way I'll just let me delete this container one more time, and I'm going to create a container again, but this time I'll say -v my nginx, let's say, volume. Okay, so I have added this extra command like -v my nginx volume /tmp. Okay, :/tmp. What is the meaning of that? If you make use of -v, it means you are making use of the volume, and volume is mainly for the data persistence. Okay, do we have paint open over here just to show you? Now let's consider this is our Docker server where we are creating a container, and this is the container we have created. Okay, this is the Docker host, this is the container as c1, and now let's say the container is generating the logs at tmp folder within the container. Okay, and I want to save all the logs which are getting created under the /tmp. That is my requirement. So I'm going to, so if let's say this container gets crash over here, then all the logs within this container will also get deleted, and there is no way by which you can recover all those things. So that's where we have to make use of the volumes within the Docker, so that the content over here, this content, all the log file content will be available over the Docker host, because Docker host is also one of the virtual machine. Okay, so what I'm defining over here, that whatever the logs that are going to get created at within the container, it should be available directly within the Docker host. And where it will be available within the Docker host? Within this directory. Okay, this is one of the directory that will get created automatically. and all the logs will be mapped over here, okay, at this location. And this way, if the container even get deleted, there is no problem with that, because the log files will be available on our Docker host at this location. Okay, so let's look into this practically. I have created this, and if you say the Docker volume ls list, like a list of all the volumes that are available with us. So as of now, there was no as of now I have created a volume with this name, so that's where you can see this, and like my nginx underscore volume. And if you want to look where this directory got created, so you have to just look for more information about this volume. So always inspect is a command we have to use to get more information about anything. So the mount point you can see is this. This is the location where the data will get stored. So var lib docker, okay, let me share this as well to you. Var lib docker is the default location where docker get installed. If you just go within this directory var lib docker, then all the folders you will be see over here. Like if you download any image, docker image ls, if you see that this image is of size 142 and this is the image you have downloaded, so information about this or the data related to this nginx image will be available within this image folder. If you create containers, then like the files related to those containers will be available within these containers. Similarly, if you create any volume, the files related to that volume will be present within this folder. So let's go within this folder. So whatever volume we have created as of now, all those volumes will be available over here. So as of now, I have created only a single volume. So let's go within that, and there is one folder underscore data. Okay, so this folder is currently empty, nothing within that. Okay, so let's look into the magic now. So what I will do, let me go ahead and create one more terminal for the same server. Okay, so we are into the two servers. Okay, means one server but two terminals. Okay, we have docker container ps. Let's execute within that and go to tmp folder. Let's create one.log file over here. As soon as you create one.log file within this container, okay, you can see I have created a file within the container. The same file will be available over the docker host, and this is the docker host. Okay, this is not a container. This file will be available within this folder. Okay, you can see one.log got created over here. So this directory within the docker host and this directory within the container are now in the sync. जो भी आप डेटा यहाँ पे क्रिएट करोगे, डिलीट करोगे, each and everything will be in sync with each other. Let's see if I write certain content within that. This is my log file. Okay, any content within that, the same content will be visible over here as well, because these log files are now into the sync. जो भी चीज़ें यहाँ पे change होती रहेगी, each and everything will be sync with this docker host. What if this container gets deleted now? Let's try to delete this container. So as this file was getting deleted along with the container earlier, but this is not the case right now, because I have stored or I have created a volume, and because of that volume my file is still available at this location. So as a developer, I can always go ahead and analyze this log file for any vulnerabilities to check or any problems to identify. This is the main benefit of the Docker volume, to uh, keep the files on the local system, important files or log files on the local system, so that at any point in time if the container gets crashed, that time those files will not be lost. Understood the concept of volume over here? So this is the main and foremost important thing behind the volume. Now there are three types of the volume, so we will look into all those volumes step by step. The volume which we have just created, okay, let me show you docker command which we have used to create a volume or to create a container with volume is okay. So this was the command we have used while creating a volume and mapping it to the container directory, as we are using certain name to that volume. Okay, so that's why we call it as a named volume. आप कुछ यहाँ पे नाम प्रोवाइड करते हो any name, okay, that, so in that case that type of volume is nothing but a named volume. What if you don't provide this name, okay, and create a new container? In that case as well, now you can see I haven't provided any name of the volume over here, so a random name will get generated, a volume will get generated with some random value. Okay, let's look into the, now this is the volume name that got created, and now this tmp folder of container c2 is now mapped to this volume. So anything which you are going to write within this tmp folder for container c2, each and everything will be in sync with this volume. Okay, so इसका location क्या है? Same location, like always each and everything is stored within the docker directory, like I mean to say docker installation directory where lib docker, and इसके अंदर we will be having volumes. So earlier we were having only one volume over here, but now one more volume got created but with some random name. So let's go within that. Same, everything will be same, only thing the difference between a named volume and this, we call it as an anonymous volume. Okay, because why anonymous? Because we are not providing any particular name to this volume. So this type of the volume means the way of using this volume without providing a name, we call it as a anonymous volume, and the functionality will still remain the same, like the content will be in sync with each other and all those things will still be in working condition. Only thing, uh, we are not going to provide a volume name, but this is not that useful over here, because let's say if I create one more volume, anonymous volume over here with container name as c3, again one anonymous volume is going to get created over here and with some random values. So अभी मुझे पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि this, मतलब by looking into this volume name I will not be able to figure it out कि this is for which container, this is for which container. It's very difficult to identify. That's where this is not widely used. The named volume is the one which is widely used to store the data, not the anonymous one. But as Docker have provided this type as well, so I'm just trying to cover it out. But in practical, we guys are not using this anonymous volume anymore. We are just making use of the named volume over here. Okay, if you just look into the container information, inspect, let's say if I do c1, no such container. Why so? Okay, I think I have deleted that. So let me create a container with a named volume. Where is that command? Okay, so let me create this, and now let's inspect this c1. So in the volume section, let's check the information about this container. Where is the volume section? Okay, let me save this output somewhere and check for the volume. you can see over here in the volume section, this is the volume that this container is using. So it's not like that once the container got created, so container के पास भी information होता है कि कौन सा volume that container is using and which directory it has mapped to. So this C1 container is making use of this nginx volume, my nginx volume, and it is trying to sync with the /tmp folder of the container. So container will always store the information about that which volume internally it is using. Okay, so you will get to see all information with the inspect command. And the last type of the volume, that is nothing but a bind volume. Okay, and there are I have written over here, we call it as a host volume or bind volume. So first we have saw the anonymous volume in which we are not providing any name to the volume. Second, we have seen the named volume where we are providing a name to that volume. Third, we will look into like host or bind volume. Okay, so as we were using like var lib docker, if you see the docker info as well, you will get to see the same information like docker installation. This docker root directory you will see over here, like your docker related all the files are installed within this server. Okay, so in the docker info you will get to see this. Now sometimes this var directory gets full because हमेशा container का data is getting synced within this directory. And what if the container have generated a bigger log file, 1 GB or 2 GB or maybe 10 GB as well? So in that case the file system of this slash var will get uh, occupied more and more, or okay, or will be in use more and more. In that case, what is the other option of making use of the other file system? So let me share the example to you. As of now, let me create one of the folder, my bind volume. Okay, so I have created this folder which is under the slash root. So I can also mount this folder or directory within the container. It's not like always we have to mount, or we have to mount it like slash var lib docker volume and volume name underscore bind or underscore data. So it's not always like we have to go ahead with the same directory structure name. We can go ahead with other directory as well. Okay, so this is also possible, like let's say I have a bigger file system under slash root, so I can definitely make use of this file system to make use of the volume. Okay, so how we can do that? Let's create a container now. This time I will be mounting this entire folder and creating a container as C4. Okay, so it is going to work in the same way, like slash tmp के अंदर जो भी content create होगा, that content will get mounted within this directory. It's the same way, only thing is like that it is not going to create any volume. If you see docker volume ls, these two were created earlier and this was created, these two are like anonymous volume. Okay, and which two, these two are the anonymous volume, this is the named volume, एंड दिस इज़ द बाइंड वॉल्यूम जिसका वॉल्यूम कभी क्रिएट नहीं होता है. मतलब you will not be able to see the like this name within the list of volumes because internally this is not getting created under the varlib docker. Whatever it is getting created under varlib docker, uska ही tracking this docker volume is going to keep. And now we are using some other file system for the volume. In that case this will not get tracked, but that is okay, that's not an issue for us. The main thing is like the things which are getting created under tmp should be in sync. So let's try it out. C4 bash let's say 2.log. Okay, let's say learning bind volume. So we have created this content and file within this container, and once you come out of that container, you will see the same file available with the same content over here as well. So things will work in the same way. Only thing, there are different ways of creating a volume. Like sometimes, like mostly people use the named volume, and if there is any file system crunch or the slash var is getting almost 90% or 95% already utilized, and now you want to create a new volume, so instead of creating within that slash var lib docker, let's go ahead and create a volume with some other file system where there is a proper storage available to us. Okay, so when to use which volume, I hope it is clear now. And the difference between a named volume and anonymous volume and the bind volume, I hope it is clear now. So now we have created a docker volume. These three volumes we have, and each and every container is now making use of volume. Okay, these are the containers which are making use of the volume. Now if you try to delete a volume, as of now you know this volume is consumed by the container c1. Okay, so if you try to delete this volume, docker volume rm is to delete a volume. In that case, you will not be able to delete that, because removing this volume, remove nginx volume is forbidden over here, because this volume is in use. Who is using this volume? This container starting with d19. So you can see starting with d19 over here. This is the container, like c1 is the container who is making use of this nginx volume. So until and unless you will not delete c1 container, the volume related to that will not get deleted. Okay, so let's try to delete a container over here. Okay, so I have deleted a container over here. There is no c1 container, and we still have this volume, because even after deleting a container, your volume will still remain the same. Now if you try to delete this volume will get deleted very easily without any error over here, because now this volume is free and it is not associated with any of the container. Okay, so if you want to delete any volume, in that case you have to first delete a container associated with that volume and then delete a volume. What is the meaning of prune now? There is a one command, prune. This is also easy to understand but important. Let's say I have this many containers, I delete everything, rm minus rf, like c2, c3, c4. Let's say I have deleted all the containers, any container. Okay, I don't have any, and the volume related to those containers are still available with us. Now you know that these volumes are not bind to any of the container, because I have deleted all the containers. Let's consider, in that case, if you want to delete it, so you just have to copy paste these two names and things will get deleted. But let's say there are 100 volumes which are not in use, 1000 volumes which are not in use, and if you want to delete all unused volumes, in that case this prune is going to help us, docker volume prune. Okay, you can see this will remove all the local volumes which are not used by any of the container. Okay, so if these volumes are not used by any of the container, it will get deleted. If there is any volume which is in use. So I'll do the control C over here and let me create a volume, sorry, let me create a container. I'm going to create again a C1 container over here with the ABCD as the volume name. Okay, and now I got this ABCD, but this ABCD is in use by the container C1 and others are not in use. Okay, because the container related to that I have deleted. So if I do the docker volume prune and let's say yes, in that case you can see deleted volumes are these two volumes. These two volumes got deleted, but not the ABCD one, because this prune is just to delete the unused volumes. Same is the case for images as well. Let's say if you just download an image and you are not using that image, or any container is not created from that image, so you can delete that image as well. Let me show you. Let's say docker container ps, we have this. Let's delete all the volumes. Okay, so now it has deleted abcd as well, because I have deleted a container related to that abcd. So now I don't have any volume associated with me. All the volumes are cleared, all the like all the containers, I guess so. All the containers are cleared now, and we have a image over here. You can do like image prune, so it is going to delete an image, because I know this is the image nginx, and from this nginx image we have not created any of the container. All right, so it means it is going to this will remove all the dangling images. Okay, okay, I got it. Nginx image is still there. Why so? The thing is, any image dangling images, it means if any image it created internally and without any name to that. Okay, over here I can see the repository name is nginx, but sometimes any image which is not having a name, that image we call it as a dangling image. Okay, maybe I just need to explain you with some practical about these images, otherwise things will not be clear. Let's say go to my deed. Okay, and we have created some index.html over here. Yesterday we were talking about a docker file. Okay, so let's see if I just create a run touch abcd, run touch 1 2 3 4, run. This time I will specify some wrong command name. Okay, let's say this is the docker file I'm having, and I tried to create a image from this docker file. Dummy image. So definitely my docker build is going to fail, because sorry, image build is going to fail because this command doesn't exist, because this touch command I have given this bad spelling. So that's where, if this is not a working condition, my like build will get failed over here and things will not be proceeded further. But internally you can see it has created certain images. The thing is, uh, each and every step, okay, step 1 is like from nginx, step 2 is like second run command, means like a run command, then third step is each and every instructions that we are going to write within the docker file, we call it as a step. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So as of now total we have 4 lines written within that. Okay, 1 2 3 4, so that's where we have total 4 steps. So out of that 4 steps, the last one or the fourth one is problematic, so it got failed. But it is going to create a image from this 3 container, or three steps you can consider. Okay, and this image is not fully created. Dummy image which I'm trying to create is not fully created. It has created certain intermediate image, and now such images we call it as a dangling image. Okay, and this dangling images we can definitely clear it up with the help of docker image prune. It's still not deleted. Maybe I'll just check later on. I was in mind, means I was in assumption that this thing will get deleted, but maybe I'll just check offline about this docker image prune, as it is not working successfully right now. Not an issue, I'll maybe google it out little bit more about it, and we'll share the information about this docker image prune tomorrow morning. We will not spend more time right now in this. Okay, so the main thing about explaining that about the things like prune is a command to delete the unwanted things. How about the containers? Docker container ps. Okay, so this is into the exited status. Okay, so container, this got created which is into the exited status, and now this container is no longer useful, right? So I can just delete all the exited containers with the help of prune over here. So now you can see I don't have any container. So this prune is a single command which is going to work with containers, images, volumes. So if volume is not in use, delete that volume. If container is not in use means it is into the exited status, then delete that container. If container is up and running, it will not delete it. So anything which is not in use will get deleted by prune. Understood now? Okay. Okay, this is all about Docker volume from my end. Just keep on practicing and let me know if you have any doubt. Thank you so much for joining. See you soon. Bye bye.